Heavy Spin is the fourth full-length album from Italian heavy rock and doom metal band Messa, a fairly experimental group to date, and one that started out as much more of a occult rock flavored kind of deal that has now described their sound as Scarlet Doom, indicating that there's a little bit more of a gothic rock affect to this record, as well as some influence from traditional doom metal, psychedelic doom metal, and a bevy of other ideas which feed into their sound. Now, this is a band that's probably better known for a lot of the surprising elements and points that were interesting on their previous records. Like Close, some of them have saxophone solos in the middle of their songs. There's quite dramatic reveals. There's a mixture of post-metal and atmospheric dread mixed with rocking occult rock, as I'd said. So they're kind of known for that exchange between modern and very old heavy rock sounds. And for this record, they've stripped it all back. They're not relying on bottomless atmosphere. They're not relying on a post-metal sound so much as they're relying on songcraft. And this focus is generally very successful for them. Every song on this record is catchy, and what we'll do is we'll cut to the main single and kind of at the apex of the verse and go from there as far as describing what the rest of the record sounds like.
Oh, my monster.
So taking heavy influence from Killing Joke, Sisters of Mercy, still naming Merciful Fate as a key influence. There's a lot that screams to me like the work of In Solitude on Sister. You kind of, every description of this record fit exactly what the press release said for Sister back in the day. And so when I sat down with this record, I was like, this is probably going to be a gothic metal record of some kind, and one that is intimate and unique in a lot of its outbursts. And that's kind of what we get here, but every song is very different. There isn't a way that I could categorize this entire record beyond atmospheric tension. And what all that means is that they're using every trick in the book to try to write songs that stand alone, that are singles, and every song on here has its moment, and they play to their strengths in terms of the dramatic reveal and the big soaring vocal moments. And there's even some big Alice in Chains where the harmonizing on the dress, the key single for the record. And so everything they're doing here is for the sake of creating a good heavy rock record, and one that has memorable pieces on it. So this is very much way more accessible than I expected it to be, but also it has a very dire, dark tone to it, which is basically their own. There are a lot of vocalists who attempt to do what the vocalist for Messa has done here. She has a little bit of an extra charisma and some personality to add to it. There are moments that clash wildly on this record that don't entirely work, but when I take it in as a full listen, I think the personality of Messa is what stands out most. And while I'm not really there for like bopping kind of yacht rock moments and buzzing synthesizer rock and all that, it does kind of come together and make sense in the end as something that's influenced by traditional doom metal as well as 80s gothic rock and new wave and whatnot. This is a great record. It really is a nice step from the underground into something that is more commercial. The major criticism here is that it's very clear what the best songs on this record are for my own taste, because they are so much bigger than some of the other moments, which don't always feel as heated or important. And that plays well to the balance of the full listen. It's not really necessarily where I thought Messa would go at all. It is still pretty good songcraft for a band that have, been around for 10 years and exploring kind of the underground atmospheric realm otherwise. Solid record, worth checking out. It released on April 11th. Check it out for yourself and go ahead and read my review for a lot more detail and in-depth thoughts on the record overall.